You guys are looking refreshed after the Easter weekend.
Hail, apparently.
I love the Easter weekend personally.
What makes it different to the other long weekends?
Well, obviously you got the extra day.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I also
50% more.
I mean, is it 50% more? It's
What's
33% more,
A
isn't it?
public holiday would normally be 1 day.
So
And this is
50%
two.
more than the norm.
Right.
Wait, no, it's 100% more.
100% more than the norm.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Correct.
But, I find the weather's usually nice. As we've talked many times about HCBs, hot cross buns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
And
I made some this weekend.
You made some?
From scratch.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I would say they were 7 out of 10.
Yeah, which means they're more like a 5.
It did kind of leave me with the question of actually that the supermarkets do very well, don't they?
Yeah, the experts.
You're the experts.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I had some really good HCBs last week. I had some very bad HCBs.
Oh, very bad. I haven't had
were
a
they
bad one.
Kate's? How do you have a bad one?
Oh, well, it was at a little mum and pop bodega called Baker's Delight.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had minimal fruit.
Oh, is that how you
That's a
okay.
disgrace. I was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Didn't help that Sizzler doesn't know how to warm up HCBs either.
Oh, this is a point of
It's
contention,
very
I think.
controversial how you actually heat up a
Okay,
hot cross
before you
bun.
tell us which is the right way, can we both
Yeah, you can guess.
have a go?
How do you do it, Ron?
I don't know. Do you open it first and then warm them up in the oven?
You're getting along the lines of where the discussion
Wow.
started. What do you do? How do you do it? If you
Yeah, well,
haven't
so you open and then crisp them in the oven for I don't know how long, but it's sort of a watch and see job.
Yeah. And obviously time temp.
Time and temp does matter, but yeah, that's how I would do it.
What do you do, Kate?
I'm surprised there's even a question. I'd definitely slice them first, but I
You're a microwaver.
actually put them in the toaster, which I know some people might think
You
that
need to have
It's insanity.
crazy, but I
you need to
think
have a
that's
fat toaster though, don't you?
yeah. To be honest, the ones the glaze on the top did get a little bit stuck to our toast.
Yeah,
This is insanity. People at home, I assume, would be the same line as me because this is the way it should be done. You just put them whole into the oven.
What?
And you put them whole into the oven and then you crisp the outside, but the inside is soft. And so you get this beautiful changing of textures. And so the inside's very, very warm. You put that wedge of butter on.
Yeah.
A wedge of butter. And you're in flavour country. I can't believe you guys wouldn't put the whole thing
You're the
in.
first person I've heard this week say that's how they do it.
That's just 1 minute of just incredible quotes. Including, but not limited to the wedge of butter, taking you from wherever we are now to flavour country. Which has a very small population, I believe.
And last week it was me.
Yeah.
On several occasions. Not after the HEBs that I got from Baker's Delight. Baker's Delight's usually a pretty decent operator. I know that, Ron, you went to Melbourne High and you probably went to the Baker. Was it Baker's Delight or Brumbies that was at South Yarra Station?
I feel like
I think it was Brumbies.
Maybe it was Brumbies, yeah.
Which is basically exactly the same company, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. They were two titans going at it during our early childhood years. Brumbies and Baker's Delight.
Oh, yeah.
It was Coles Woolworths.
Yeah, they
were the original Coles versus Woolworths.
It was a weekly street fight.
Yeah, it was.
A street fight based on
there's no
pull
winners.
aparts and scrolls, things of this nature. But I just remember having these sort of mass baked goods from either Brumbies or Baker's Delight, and I was always satisfied.
Yeah, it was incredible when you make things, with sugar in it, how tasty they are.
Yeah.
And have no focus on any health benefits. Pull aparts would be
sugar and butter.
Sugar, butter, the wedge. What Brumbies and Baker's Delight did best is that they did take you to flavour country pretty quickly. Yeah.
Well, they got you on the way.
Yeah, on the way there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an impressive experience. I think they've fallen off.
Yeah, but no one talks about them anymore. They're not in the modern age really. They're just old sort of artifacts from a bygone era.
Well, I was there the other day and it was packed. They were selling. Well, the other thing is $10 for 6 HCBs.
I was going to say that's almost on the cheaper end.
That's insane. But yeah, I thought
I've seen them like $6.50, $7 per bun.
Jesus.
Hang on, where are you getting them?
I didn't obviously buy them, but what's it called? Blakeaway in the city near my work.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah, it's a bougie
Still,
cafe.
that's inflation.
I know. Well, that's why I'm trying to make them. I'm like, I could make it.
What is the marginal cost on a HCB?
Well, I'm really questioning the 7 out of 10 rating you gave to your own. Did they?
They're good.
Did
but I
they
just
form?
don't.
Were they formed?
Oh, absolutely. They. I'll show you a picture later. Actually, they look rustic and good, and I would say that they taste great. But I don't think that they have the fluffiness or kind of springiness as the store ones do.
So they're rustic, but they lack springiness.
Yes.
Yeah, to take them to the store quality. Understood.
And they were more like I mean, I used the wrong flour, so they were more like a pizza dough than a cake dough.
Understood. Was there a reason why the wrong flour was used?
Well, I didn't have any of them.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't want to go out again.
Yeah, so as good a reason as any, that one.
Pat, you were struggling last week. Let's call a spade.
Yeah.
But you're back again here this week.
Yeah, I'm always
We're very impressed.
lifted by the side of Kate and Chief in person. So, just excited. It actually hasn't been a great weekend of footy, but it's just another weekend of footy. Yeah.
But I did see, wasn't it your best week, even though, it still didn't go well
What did you,
Essendon's best
for
week.
Bombers?
as in this week?
Yeah.
It's marginally better.
A smaller defeat, I thought I saw in the
Yeah,
news.
it was a smaller defeat, but it doesn't
Oh, yes,
matter.
okay. It doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a pretty strong belief on that. Once a game hits a certain point, we were down by 55 halfway through the second quarter. Nothing that happens after that point in the game actually matters at all.
Do you know what is interesting?
Actually at all.
We talked about this when previewing the Bombers versus Western Bulldogs, that if you bet $1,000 on the Bulldogs head-to-head, you would have won $5 back.
Yeah, it's like they took no bets on the Bulldogs. 'Cause
And,
it's
yeah.
the first time it's ever been
Yeah.
such poor odds.
And the line was 69.5. So
got out to 74.
So it's 74. I told you, I said that is a juicy line. I think you bet that line purely because I think what I sort of assumed that the Bulldogs would just put Q in the rack after half time.
Yeah, it was an ultimate Q in the rack job. I thought it was going to be 200 at one point. But then a few things, a couple of lucky bounces, a bit more effort, and then, Tim English gets injured, a few other players get injured, the Bulldogs already looking towards next week, and then there you have it, a 34-point loss. But really, yeah, if Bulldogs full strength play that out like a normal game, we lose by 120, 130. We lose by 100 points more.
That's probably fair. Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah.
We're a little bit removed from Good Friday,
Yeah, not too removed.
and what a Good Friday it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I ended up tipping Carlton, but I really enjoyed. Those were two of the better footy games that we've had this year, back to back. Two absolute nail biters.
Yeah,
Two ding dongs, as we call them in the business. Double D's. It was a genuine ding dong affair on Good Friday.
Your favourite double D's, actually.
Yeah, they are. And this was two genuine ding-dongs. The Harry Sheasel goal might go down as one of the more replayed goals in recent memory. Sort of, it's got a bit of David Zaharakis Anzac Day about it, just like how iconic it is. You can see the goal the whole time in it. So that's pretty special, I think. But yeah, obviously an amazing feeling for North Melbourne supporters, Chief. 3-1 and should really be 4-0.
Probably. We're actually restarting the discussions about regional Victoria because last year we talked about us, Cesar and I, going to all these different regional centres, and we went to Castlemaine, unfortunately, for Good Friday, so we missed the game.
Oh, you missed it?
Yeah, I didn't go.
But he watched it.
I watched.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing was that we went to a place called the Mill, where Zara can mooch around and look at all these secondhand things, and we're sitting outside with Henry and I sitting outside this place. They've got a perfect setup actually, because what they do is they've got basically a beer garden, beer on tap.
Great.
And then they've got the secondhand area.
So you've got the boyfriend and the dog area.
And then the boyfriend and the dog just sit there, and there were literally 5 of us sitting out there.
Yeah.
Just waiting for things to marinate and being like, oh, yeah.
The first quarter was as bad a quarter as I've seen, nearly as bad as the North Essendon quarter the week before. But then the last quarter was as electrifying as footy gets.
Yeah, I mean, it was. You could see there was just 2 teams not wanting to lose that first quarter and second quarter to a certain extent. And one thing that if you look at the teams and Stephen Quartermain, who I'm not a big fan of, to be honest, since that Chief Dunstall throwing the rice into his lap.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
Yeah, I do, of course.
We'll talk about that later, Kate. But what happened was he said, I picked North because if you put the squads next to each other, there's just way more top talent with the Kangaroos, which is true. That doesn't necessarily mean you win, but that's kind of that was his tiebreaker, so to speak. And that's what happened at the end of the game. It's just the top talent came to the surface. LDU had one of his best quarters that he's ever had. Obviously, Sheasel kicks that goal. Wardlaw just... I obviously, like every North fan, you love Wardlaw, but I also realise that he's an exceedingly limited footballer. Like, he can't kick.
Neither can LDU.
Yeah, it's true. You can get at least LDU can kick over 45 metres.
That's fair. But what George Wardlaw brings to the team is just it's hard to quantify because it doesn't come up in stats all the time. It does in clearances for him, but it doesn't come up in just the sheer like playing around him when someone is moving at that sort of pace, both mentally and physically, with just one gear. I think he's like a better version of Mitch Robinson that I remember back in the day. He's like a more skilled clearance player, much more skilled clearance player, but that's how sort of Mitch Robinson used to go around. And it was just like intoxicating if you're playing around it.
You look at what you talk about Whiteland Fever, a guy that a person who steps over into the arena and turns into a different person. That is George.
Yeah.
Off the field, he's very mild-mannered, relaxed guy, plays the guitar. He becomes manic and almost insane when he's around the ball.
I tell you what as well, this is not quite relevant, but I was watching footy with that game with a friend, and we were lamenting that George is a great name that doesn't get given to babies that often anymore. How many Georges do you know? Like, it's such a fantastic boy's name.
Yeah, it is a good name.
And it's not like there's no more Georges.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think because we're calling people Bottle and Seven and Camera and like fucking coming up with names that are, nouns and adjectives, so because we can be so cool or whatever. Let's just start calling people George again. Like, how good, George? George Wardlaw. Like, what a name.
Yeah, that is a weird second name.
Yeah, it is. Forget that for a second. Just focus on George. Like, name another George in the AFL.
George Hewitt.
Yeah, like, there's not many.
There aren't many, Kate.
Yeah.
No, and yet there's so many other rando names.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, Cam.
Yeah, Cam. Yeah, Cam sucks.
There's quite a few Cam.
If you're a Cam listening, just stop listening. We don't want you. You're a shitty name.
Isn't there a few Jais?
There's a lot of
Jais. Jarrans and Stephen spelt in 7 different ways.
There's a few Riolis.
Yeah, that's more of a surname.
Oh, sorry, I get confused.
Quite a famous surname, actually.
Yeah, but no, look, George, I still think Carlton, there was a significant element of choke now. Like, the cream did rise to the top.
Is it industrial cleaners time down at... probably has been for 3 weeks.
I think it has. The biggest issue they had was Voss putting the hat on after the loss. Like, he just looked ridiculous. There's sponsors all over his top and sponsors all over his hat, and he's under the most pressure you can be at. And he's
it's because that hat was signed by it's like a sick kid.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but like, he just looks like a rabble, and he being on the ground for coaching from the box, from the sidelines, just clearly doesn't work for them. Again, I seesawing between who you'd rather be, Essendon or Carlton, and it just changes every week.
Fair enough as well. I think the problem with Carlton at the moment is that their list is in a really bad place. They're something like they're sort of mid-table in terms of the age of their list. So they've got a lot of older players, and they've got quite a lot of younger players, but they've got no one in that in between. And then also, their older players aren't very good,
and the younger players aren't.
And they're apart from Jagger Smith, like, who are you hanging your hat on? Probably Harry Dean, but he's kind of early doors. Cowan.
Yeah, they're no.
I don't know who that guy is.
They're in a tough spot.
But that last quarter was as exciting a game as you'll see. It just had a lot of different elements to it. Until
a few hours later, where the last quarter was equally, if not more exciting, because you've got two better teams.
Yes.
Going at it.
Yes.
But both of those last quarters, back to back, were phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, even as a completely biased watcher and supporter of the North Melbourne Football Club, there were 5 free kicks to Carlton in the last 2 minutes.
I agree with that.
They didn't pay.
it would really hurt. Like, you sort of just need to bank that as Carlton and just enjoy that win on a Good Friday heading into a weekend. And to not have that now, on the flip side, what it means for North and how big a win it was. It's just, it's one of those great sliding door moments, especially after an 80-point loss on this day last year for North. So
I'm not getting ahead of myself. I understand that Carlton aren't much chop. I also understand that there were certain elements in the game which were favourable to us. Obviously Wiedering going down. But you just got to enjoy the wins, don't you? You won 5 games a year for 5 years, it's not enjoyable. So you got to enjoy those little wins.
The only issue we have, which we knew already, and you hope that North can withstand this, but Sydney beating West Coast by 140 points doesn't bode well for the bottom half of the ladder.
I agree with that.
Right now, North has played only bottom 4 teams, and they've won and should have been 4-0. And the first time that a team has played a top 4 team has played a bottom 4 team, and they won by 100 points. I don't know if there's been another instance just yet this year. Maybe if you count the Bulldogs last night being a top 4 team against Essendon, but otherwise the bottom 4 teams still haven't played necessarily.
Yeah, I would count the Bulldogs versus Essendon, mainly because Bulldogs are top 4 and Essendon
bottom 1.
Bottom 4.
Yeah. So you've got that, maybe a bit of an anomaly, but not a full strength team. But West Coast not being able to hold on, under 80 points or whatever. I'm very interested to see what happens with some of these future battles.
I just think that one was a perfect storm for Swans, to be honest. They had a few guys coming back. They felt pretty good about themselves. They've got a game style that means that they put the other team under ridiculous amounts of pressure. Also, I think West Coast are just going to be one of those massive differences between their best and their worst team.
That's fair.
Because they're just so young.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting when there is a Kangaroos, versus Brisbane, Sydney, Gold Coast Bulldogs. Same for Port versus those teams. Same for Carlton. Seeing what the disparity, because everyone's worried about the rules and what they mean for the gaps between the good and bad teams. So let's see if there's hopefully not too many more 100-point losses this year.
Yeah, you feel like, as you say, if the game's more open, there's less levers to pull.
Yeah, unless you want to park, which I thought Essendon would do, unless you want to park the bus, which you're not doing if you're a team that's actually trying to develop.
No, you're just holding back the tide, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's go to the news, Kate. Okay, Pet. More controversy again this week. It's just complete insanity. This time hey, what's the deal with Frankie Evans?
What, his glasses?
Yeah, this whole vibe. It's got kind of that Rip Van Winkle facial hair. He's got sports goggles.
It's very 80s.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's unique. I mean, he's a bit of a cult figure at Carlton, but I think he's had like 2 or 3 good games and then and done nothing else except wear the glasses. So he was still pretty good on Friday in patches, but yeah, I don't know. It is bizarre.
Well, there was just a strange moment where I think it was controversial. We talked about this before last week. One of the last things we talked about, which was the ARC is reviewing these lasso free kicks.
Yeah.
And I did see one overturned yesterday in the Melbourne game, where it was given out on the full, and then they kind of deliberately took their time giving the ball back, and then the ARC kind of was able to use that time to review the play.
Yeah.
And then, so Frankie Evans clearly handles it into somebody else and then it goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
And then the free kick goes against him. North go down and
kick. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, we're using technology and getting it wrong. It's like, it's just an embarrassment, really, as a league. Like, what's the point is the question there. Why have technology if it's going to get wrong? Like, we got it wrong enough with humans, but at least it moved quickly, and at least there was a human element to it, and it was exciting in a way. Now it's just the excitement's removed, the game stopped, and we still get it wrong.
Yeah, it's your classic introducing an extra layer which is supposed to solve problems but just gives you more problems.
Yeah, I think until you have 100% confidence, this is probably what it shows. Until you have 100% confidence in a technology, it's binary. It should be 0 or 1. Until it can be solved 100% of the time, there's no point introducing it, because what are you really improving then? You know, probably the best example in any other sport is Hawkeye technology, like for tennis. You either trust it 100% and it works 100% of the time, or you don't. You can't bring in Hawkeye with a 90% confidence interval or 95%, and that's what we've essentially done. We brought in our version of Hawkeye and go, it's going to work 90 to 95% of the time, so like that's better than 0. It's not, because it was probably at 80, 85 before. It wasn't that much worse, and the game was moving quicker and less people, and not to mention the money saved.
Those gaming chairs in the ARC.
Well, they now hire people. Well, I don't know what extra costs we're putting towards these things. And
who are these people as well in the ARC, Kate? Do you know who they are?
I know.
You don't know them personally, do you?
Not personally. I think we all have an idea.
Yeah, we all have 1 or 2 degrees of separation.
So Kate is literally, you're intimating that they're nerds, aren't you? They're nerds in the ARC.
Yeah, they are nerds.
In gaming chairs.
Nothing wrong with a good nerd. They just dumb nerds. Like, let's get the smart nerds.
They're not even meeting the minimum criteria.
No, they're just like nerdy, but they don't have IQ. That's the worst type of nerd.
Is that similar to what you guys call nuffies?
No, nuffies don't have IQ and aren't nerdy. Okay. Yeah, so they're the opposite. So yeah.
I thought nuffies were nerdy.
No, they're not nerdy. They're just
they're
losers.
Obsessive.
Yeah, they're obsessed.
Yeah, okay.
So nuffies are dumb and not nerdy. Then you've got these ARC people that are nerdy but dumb. What you want is the nerdy and smart ones in the ARC. Okay. And then the ideal box is the smart and not nerdy, which
they're not working in the ARC.
Yeah, they're working.
If you're smart and not nerdy, you're not going to spend your Saturday nights sitting in a gaming chair with
I'll do that.
6 screens in front of you. We're just waiting for the umpires to make a mistake. I feel like half the time they're just playing Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, who knows?
In the ARC. And then they're not even paying any attention. They've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Do you see any of this Stephen May stuff happening with Melbourne?
No.
So basically what happened, this is really silly. They wanted to have a sort of a welcoming, I guess, call, the Melbourne hierarchy, to bring in new wives and girlfriends and partners and family members. And so they brought everybody onto a group call. Now, for some reason, they wanted to talk about this Stephen May situation. Now, the intimation is that at the time he was being investigated for threatening behaviour, potentially towards his wife. And they wanted to address it for some reason on this call. But basically, Alan Richardson, talking about nerdy and not smart, that might describe him very, very well. brought up all of these details of the Stephen May situation that even the cops didn't know. And he's telling all this random array of people stuff that should be confidential. Now, as they do, which is very, very smart, one of the wags recorded the full phone call. And then who gets a DM? Old Tommy Morris. Old Tommy Morris. Old
faithful.
Yeah, old news hound. And obviously he's brought this up. And by the looks of it, this is the death knell for Alan Richardson at that football club. Very embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, I didn't hear about this, but yeah. There's so many instances of this now happening that you have to be smarter with anything you say in a public or even semi-private forum and know better.
Is it that hard to have something in person?
I don't know.
Well, it's not COVID anymore. Why are we having Zoom meetings?
I don't know. That says enough.
Complete insanity. Anyway, let's get to the games, Pet. Did you catch much of this Collingwood GWS game?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, it wasn't Collingwood GWS.
Brisbane Collingwood, I should say.
Brisbane Collingwood. Yeah, I did. I think it went to script, even more to script once Dacos was out. I think there's just a class gulf between the two teams.
Talk me through this Dacos situation. It makes no sense to me.
Well, he got injured in the warm-up is what they're saying, or just before.
Well, so apparently he had a corky.
Yeah.
From the previous game.
Yeah, but then how would he get through training? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, how does he get through training? But then also, how do you rock up on game day, not testing him before that? Like, clearly he needed to have a test for the captain's run the day before. So was he moving well then?
Well, that's it. That's what doesn't make sense, and I don't think there's any information to support it. But I think Collingwood have done, are usually pretty buttoned up with everything, so they've sort of got a pass for this. But it's now 2 weeks in a row that there's really questionable injury or health-related things with Darcy Moore last week and Nick Dacos this week. So if something else happens again from here, then there is an issue to speak about.
Two of their best players. And if you saw Dacos warming up, there's no way he could have trained during the week.
And you know the type of player he is. There's no way he wouldn't want to play, even if he was at 70%, he would have played.
Okay, do you know what it's like to have a little pebble in your shoe?
Very irritating.
That's what it looked like. It looked like he was running around with a pebble in his shoe.
Yeah.
He was barely putting weight on that side.
They are so much worse as a team without him. It's not even funny. Like, I don't know if there is a bigger disparity in the league.
He's got no X factor when he's not there. They've got no class.
No class, but also, you're not as scared, of the midfield, because it is just a bit of an older midfield or some ho-hum players. But I'm trying to think, because like Bont misses games, Bulldogs are fine. Brisbane have too many good midfielders, so if McCluggage or Neil or whatever miss games, it doesn't really impact them. Maybe you could argue Jordan Dawson and Adelaide to an extent. I'd say that's probably the closest to Dacos missing, because, Rankine and Rochelle play sort of hybrid roles, but after Dawson, the drop-off is immense. But then I can't think of anyone else. Maybe Essendon with Zach Merritt, but I don't rate
that's got to be a huge boost to your ego, knowing that
it is. But the better boost is just winning premierships and Brownlows, of which he's done none in the last few years. Until a few years ago,
they won a flag. 2023 they won, but yeah, it's a good point.
It is a boost to the ego, and it's great, and he is a super valuable player. But you it's bad. It's a bad sign for Collingwood.
Oh, it's
long term.
Long term, absolutely terrible.
So Collingwood have this philosophy where they say, well, we're a big club, we don't have to get good draft picks in, we can just recruit free agents. Well, and at some point it's not going to work.
But it did work in 23 to an extent. Like, it wasn't built on draft picks, and no one really expected them to win the flag that year.
No, it's a good point.
So, it's just that it might start working less and less when there's these other teams becoming super teams, in a way. And I think that's when the strategy might start to, fall apart. But then you look at Geelong and Collingwood, and that they've always had that strategy in a way of not needing to go fully to the draft. And they have a down year, which maybe this might be for Collingwood, who knows. They still probably make the 8. And then they suddenly come back and finish top 4 or top 6 the year after. So you almost have to see it 2 years in a row with those sort of clubs before you can actually start saying it's the wrong strategy.
True, and I guess with Collingwood, so you look at who they've recruited in the last couple of years, I would argue that it hasn't worked.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
Maybe that's system rather than the player themselves. Like Houston, not really been the same player since he's been there. Schultz has probably been fine.
Yeah, he's been passable.
You know what you get with him.
I don't know why you get rid of Myercheck. That doesn't make any sense to me when you don't
have a forward to replace him. They're trying to replace him with Jack Buller.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Of all people.
And I think where they've fallen down the most is that they still build their whole defence around Darcy Moore, and Darcy Moore's not a top 20 defender in the league anymore. So then everything sort of trickles down from there. So everyone now is under a lot more pressure because Darcy Moore's not that good. And so it just sort of puts the whole squad under pressure, which is usually carried by Nick Dacos.
Yeah, it's true. I just feel like maybe with Collingwood, maybe it's because I feel like they're over-reliant on older players now. I know people will say, well, Geelong is as well, but Geelong do have those mid-range players that also perform really well. Obviously, now they've got Baz Smith. They've got Close, they've got Manor, they've got these guys who are mid-level guys, sort of mid-20s, who are really good performers, as well as a top-end older talent. I just don't see Collingwood with that. Like, they've either got the older guys, Pendle's, Sidebottom, Crisp is 31, Darcy Moore is 29, 30, Howe is 35, they're old. Elliott. But who are the mid-level guys? So you got Dacos, who's like 22, 23. You got Josh Dacos. But then the rest of them are really kind of mediocre.
Yeah, they are. And that's, They have tough decisions to make based on where they finish this year. So we'll wait and see. But Brisbane just... Tell you what stood out for me for Brisbane is they've just got... The list is so good. Like Bruce Reville. Firstly... Bruce Reville and who's the guy for Bulldogs last night? Archie Jones? Artie
Jones, yeah.
Artie Jones. Like, they couldn't have more just generic white people names. And then they're just these incredible black footballers. Like, both incredible at footy, but would be considered in the bottom 6 of their teams. Like, Reville has been incredible this year, and he's just, in their bottom 6. And he dominated again on Thursday. So Brisbane's not going anywhere for years and years.
Yeah, Brisbane are almost the opposite. I understand Brisbane have got great players at the top end, age wise, but they've got sort of 6 to 8
of the best
absolute jet young
Morris,
players coming
the
through.
Ashcrofts, these players are
Fletcher,
genuine blue chippers.
The list goes on. It's actually completely insane. Here's a question that I saw posed during the week. Who is the best brother combo in the league? So I looked at Ashcroft's on the weekend.
Thursday,
and I was obviously impressed. Will is significantly better than Levi. I actually don't really rate Levi very highly, but Will it's hard to argue with his record.
Yeah. So who are the others?
The Dacos brothers.
Anyone else in the conversation?
Obviously the Hollands brothers. I don't know. We know your take on the Hollands
Eventually
brothers.
It's going to potentially be the Dersmers. I don't know which one outside of Willem is any good. But Willem's going to be really, really good. It's very clear already. He takes marks and kicks goals, 2 critical aspects of being a good player. I think the Dacoses have it right now. And it depends on whether Levi can go to that next level. He's a sort of 16 to 18 touch a game player playing in a really good team, so he can just sort of do what he wants in the background there. While Josh has a pretty important role now as one of the critical ball users in the team. So I'd give it to the Dacos.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not critical. I just think with the Ashcrofts coming in, you're not going to get an easier run coming into a team.
Yeah, but then Will's winning Norm Smiths.
Yeah, that's true. If you're both Will and Levi, Will comes into a team. He's got Dunkley, they've got Neil, they've got McCluggage,
Yeah, no,
They've
it's
got
an easy.
jets around them.
It's an easy run.
I always struggle with the narrative that it's easier coming into a shit team than it is a good team. And this is why there's this always a comparison between Sheasel and Ashcroft. I would say that it's harder for Sheasel to come in and be a 30 to 35 touch a game player versus Will coming in and, you know, no one's paying him any attention.
Yeah, I would say though, like objectively, I would still currently take Ashcroft over Sheasel, mainly because the possessions are more impactful. If Sheasel can get on the scoreboard a bit more, but not even that, I think some of he's got a really good kick around the ground, but from what I've seen at least, he's not an amazing forward 50 entry kick yet. It hasn't been that effective part of his game, super effective. While Will Ashcroft just score involvements, goals, it's at a different level for now. That doesn't mean, however, like Sheasel has every opportunity to be ahead of Will Ashcroft by the end of his career.
I also think that if North start playing finals, then we'll actually start seeing
the best
how critical he can be.
I hope so.
Because
I mean, we need it. It's Caulfield South. We've got nothing to hold our hat on. Yeah,
South Caulfield, the pride is down there. So let's go to just briefly talk about the Good Friday game. It was a lot of money raised. They do this Good Friday build up really well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's getting better each year. And I think it was a great day.
Raise a lot of money for the Good Friday appeal, Kate.
Yeah. No, it's a really pleasing weekend from a societal and charity point of view.
And it was a real tearjerker because when they have the banner, they have a combined banner for Carlton and North, and the players come out first and then do a guard of honour for the sick kids.
Yeah.
And the sick kids like jog out and like they run through the banner with their parents. It's really nice.
It's great, heartwarming. Yeah.
And then the game itself, we talked like quite a lot about it already, but I feel as though part of me is just enjoying the win. Part of me is, I guess, reluctant to really kind of get too far ahead of myself in terms of what the season holds based on who we've played. I think Carlton are junk.
Yeah, well, I think you've played 3 out of the 4 junkest teams.
Yeah, I would say probably 4 out of the 4.
Yeah, sorry, 5. You played all. Actually, played all. Well,
Richmond's the only one.
Yeah, you're missing Richmond. That's it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to be okay. Like the next level up is Melbourne, St Kilda.
Yeah, and that's where the real tests are going to come. We've got to if we're to push that 8 to 10 win mark. Actually, to be fair, we might reach 6-7 wins just by playing the bottom.
Yeah, you can play those
teams.
And just crank them out.
But we need to win some games against, as you said, Melbourne, St Kilda, GWS, Collingwood, these sort of teams.
Yeah.
And even challenge maybe some of the top 8 teams.
Yeah.
Just challenge. Don't have to beat them.
Absolutely.
But, and then, wow, you watch the end of this Freo Adelaide game.
Well, the Freo Adelaide game, it's just like watching the North Carlton game, as I said earlier, but you're actually watching good teams. Like, there's a level of enjoyment there it's a bit different. Like, the goals that are kicked, the moments, it is a step up. It was a super win. I mean, I thought there'd be 98 scenarios out of 100 where Adelaide wins that game at the end. A few bounces, a few kicks, a few everything. But Freo put themselves in a position by being 6 goals up at a stage in the game. And that's all you can do. And right now, I still don't fear Freo. I don't fear Adelaide either. But it's all there. Suddenly you talk about Adelaide as having the 3-headed forwards. Flip that on it. Fremantle now has the most.
Don't worry about the 3-headed monster Adelaide, Kate.
Worry about it down in Perth with the time difference. And worry about it right now that there's arguments to be made that Josh Tracy is the best forward in the league right now. There's arguments to be made that is 100% true. There's no one who marks the ball better right now in the league. And he's kicking goals, and he's just there's a bit of, I don't want to say Wayne Carey because it's not that, but I'm trying to think of, there is a tiny bit of Jonathan Brown and again, Brown probably played a slightly different style. But
it's like a cachet that comes along with him, fear almost when he's around.
He's imposing.
Because he's so big.
And then you got Vossen and Miss playing career best footy as well. And you pair it with Dudley, Murphy Reid moving to the midfield but can play forward, Shai Bolton getting on a few goals. Like, that's a top 4 fringe team right there.
It is, yeah, definitely. I agree completely. And I think I've talked about their forward line for a little bit. I feel as though if Amos can get going...
Storage full.
I don't know how you sort it by biggest...
We might have to manage it. Do you have any videos from last week?
No, because it was done in...
Or the week before? I can't remember.
It says 260 gigs remaining. Isn't that fucked?
How big is your phone storage if it's 260?
12.
Oh, shit.
But like, the fuck's going on here?
Oh, is it... How is it...
Here we go, here's one to delete.
Are you in...
it's this one.
Are you in HD? Are you in HD?
No, I put it in...
1080.
Let me just try do collections.
It would be hefty though, mate. I don't know whether I'd have enough storage for
It's a bit...
one of those.
So one
Do you
is
have
about,
iCloud?
one is
No.
about 3 gig.
Yeah. One's what?
One video is about 3 gig.
3 gig.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can find a longer video to delete. See, I thought I had it. Oh, there's one from a few weeks ago. That'll help.
How do you have that many gig on your phone? Like, how many...
I don't know, Chief. It's just my life. It's not my life. You tell me if it's...
I'll just sort that. Scissors, throw around some weights. Yeah, cool.
The other ones are still working, Kate?
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, that's all good.
Okay.
Alright, so just if you can just rewind 10 seconds and to the last thing you were saying.
Yeah, I think Freo have the forward line.
Yeah,
Let's
they-
just put it that way.
Yeah.
I think Voss is an interesting one. I think he's the strongest man in the comp, apparently.
Yeah.
Obviously, another one that Essendon got rid of.
Yeah.
That he might come back to bite them. And then, look, the end sequence of this game was quite amazing, if I'm going to be honest with
Yeah.
you. And it's 2 games, obviously the 2 Good Friday games that were characterised by massive smothers.
Yeah.
So,
I've done it again.
What?
Yeah, it's just saying I'm from storage full.
But I just deleted it. How the fuck do you delete it properly?
he empty trash.
Yeah, maybe going to recently deleted. I don't know whether that would make a difference.
Where is recently deleted? I'm just going to get rid of it. Delete all, done. Surely this just fucking works. Okay. Should just work. The other video was already, I think it was 42 minutes, so it's probably taking up some room as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Pet, we've got the 2 games characterised by smothers. The end sequence for the Freo versus Adelaide game was insane. Riley O'Brien kicking into the man on the mark.
Yeah.
Ball goes straight down the other end. Triarchy.
It's an
Dribble.
amazing goal, yeah.
Dribble kick. But then the real piece to resistance was maybe it was Saligo running into goal. One of those type of players.
Peatling,
Peatling, maybe.
maybe, yeah, someone like that.
And then Alex Pearce coming from absolutely nowhere to smother that.
Yeah, it was as James Brayshaw said on Wardlaw smother, enormous smother. They were both enormous. Great word, enormous, when used in a commentary theme. It really gets the crowd going.
I don't think that. I think Freo making some friends. I think Adelaide burning some bridges to a certain extent, because these are sort of the games they do need to win if they're going to finish top 4 this year.
Yeah, they're not finishing top 4.
They need to make if they are, they need to make a big run.
Yeah.
A big run. So yesterday we talked a bit about the Bombers versus Bulldogs.
Yeah, nothing really to speak there. Games don't matter once you're 10 goals down. They did everything they needed to without Richards, without Lebba. Ho-hum, move on. Archie Roberts really the only thing I take out of the game, and Farrow looked really good, one of our only good kicks. But yeah, the Melbourne Gold Coast game was an absolute boil over.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I was so surprised.
Well, that's the only game I haven't been able to watch this weekend, but just seemed like, Gold Coast just, at the G, maybe underestimated their opponents. Melbourne playing with nothing to lose, playing in a really exciting game style that I think some clubs later in the year will just figure out how to just shut down a bit easier rather than letting them have their own way. And then, Gold Coast just couldn't peg it back.
I think they just got talent there that we didn't even realise they had. Like Lindsay and Langford and...
Yeah, but they were there last year. I think it's just...
But they've improved.
I think it's new coach, new game style. I think there's always not a honeymoon phase necessarily, but there sort of is. It usually lasts somewhere between 5 to 7 rounds, and then things start to normalise. So I'm really curious to see what happens after that honeymoon period, but a great win. Like, Gold Coast is a genuine flag opportunity this year, so any win...
I think Melbourne's 3 wins are much more meritorious than the Kangaroos' 3 wins. That's why I actually am impressed with Melbourne.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It disappoints me, as I genuinely have significant disdain for the Melbourne Football Club, but they have been really good so far to start the year, and the only blemish was they didn't turn up at all for the first quarter against Fremantle, and then they pretty much lost by that same amount by the end of the game. So they held their own for 3 quarters after that.
Yeah, there were 2 games on Saturday we won't even talk about. Port versus Tigers, terrible game.
Pointless game. And then the other game, just as we were speaking about, it's just Isaac Heaney getting Brownlow votes out of his, just literally walking onto the ground, taking 3.
There's actually nothing I take from that game.
You can't take anything from that game because of what you said. The highs and lows for West Coast are going to be huge. The only thing you do take from that game is that this is how Sydney was playing when they were dominant a couple of years ago. And that's without Goulden. They've... if Heaney, Warner... obviously, Kerner beat up on West Coast. You don't really take anything from those 4 goals, or at least I don't. But Amati's becoming like an okay player now. Papley turned back the clock in his 200th a tiny bit. If Heaney's kicking 4, Warner's kicking 2, McInerney and a few of the other midfielders, if you're getting 10 goals from your midfield, you're winning most games of footy.
It's hard to beat them if they... Yeah. Because you're going to get another 60 from other sources. Yeah. So, let's go to what are we doing here, Pat? What have you got this week?
Well, actually, my low-key cooking is pretty clear, but what are we doing here? I mean, I don't want to sort of continue to beat down on Essendon, but I will.
Let go. Just go for it.
No, I'm not going to do it angrily, but the press conference, it's just we're a walking skit. So Saturday Night Live, more affectionately known as SNL, is actually a skit show. And so when you watch that, you expect to laugh and you expect to watch skits. But in a way, the Brad Scott press conference is now just an extension of SNL. He sat there, legitimately looked into the camera, looked down the eyeball and said, plenty of teams have come from 0-4 and 0-5 to make finals. So we're not ruling it out just yet. I just don't know why. What's the point of that sentence? It's not actually factually incorrect. I mean, we remember Hawthorn is the most clear case 2 years ago where they almost became the darling of the final series after starting 0-5. But why are we even speaking about it? Why would you even say that? He goes, we're not ruling it out. he must be using something that's not oxygen. It must be a different oxygen to what I'm breathing, and he must be looking at a different world to what I'm looking at. But you have 8 to 11 minutes of the press conference, and he's just used 30 seconds on that. Like, it's an absolute. I cannot wait for him to be let go of his position. And I've heard more and more now, like from AFL insiders and others, that he wasn't even that respected in his role as head of AFL operations in the AFL, and that internally there's so many people that don't respect him at Essendon. So then I thought he had that at Essendon, but if he doesn't even have that, it's just, what do we do? Why is he here? What are we actually doing here, having him remain as our head coach? So that's it for you, Chief.
I didn't realise that he said that. So first off, these are very funny, these press conferences now, because what they do is, what a lot of coaches realise there's X amount of time. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what they do is, instead of taking questions, they'll start off with just a monologue, which will last for 5 to 6 minutes. So then you minimise the amount of questions that you can be asked, minimise the curly questions.
Yeah.
It's very smart. Clarko does a brilliant job of it.
Yeah, the monologue's great. Again, it's very SNL.
That is smart.
It's very Saturday Night Live. There's a monologue at the start. The only thing missing from this is the music act. If there was a music act, there was someone with a ukulele next to Brad Scott, then you could just take the clip and add it to the Saturday Night Live clip from the previous Saturday.
Clarko does do his little kumbaya with his acoustic guitar from time to time. I loved that. I saw the very start of that press conference, and Brad Scott looked like the cat who had swallowed the canary. He had the biggest smile on his face at the start of the press conference. You just lost by 6 goals.
Yeah,
and he was very happy with himself. That surprised me.
It's a shambles.
Do you have any? What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Mine was this week. It was April Fool's, wasn't it? And mine's just a bit of a, what are we doing here? All of these brands trying to latch on with some cheesy April Fool. I'm just so over it.
You're getting old, Kate. Join the club. Yeah, it's good. How good's being cynical?
I was worried.
Join us.
I was worried that you might have done something like this with your company, but am I safe?
No, I was too depressed to think about April Fools. Yeah.
I actually had my April Fool's posts down here, Kate, because what they do is they have these completely outrageous news articles, and
like Kate wins tipping.
Yeah. And you always get, and
that happened.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what April Fool's means then.
And you get sucked in, and then you realise, it's April Fool's, and then you get sucked in again. But the problem is that when it comes to certain world events, our very favourite straight,
the Hummus.
Probably our favourite straight in the world is the one of Hummus. There's just posts coming out. I don't know whether that's true or not.
Yeah,
because
it's
one
silly
thing
day.
is so crazy.
We're above the day.
I just felt like it really played into my lack of trust with everybody in my inner circle.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's the other issues. Yeah.
So I've got a few other ones. I was doing some painting during the week. We've got to paint our old clinic. Don't even start with the questions about. I hate painting.
I don't mind it.
I hate painting.
As in your house, you paint walls?
Paint stuff more for MPI. I haven't painted my house. But I don't mind work that's menial sometimes, where you don't have to think.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, carpentry or like other stuff, building stuff, you still need to think this goes there. But something like painting, I'm trying to think what another, like mowing the lawn.
It's like meditative,
where you sort of need to know roughly what you're doing, but once you do that, you're just doing the exact same thing over and over and over.
Well, maybe Matt, get
like ironing. I'm a big ironer. I love ironing, and all my friends hate it. So, like, again, I don't host anyone anymore. This is 10 years ago when I had a social life. But if friends were coming over for prees or were going out, they'd bring their shirts.
No.
And I would iron like 6 shirts. And I know it wasn't even like I enjoyed it. That's how sick it was.
Do you iron your bedclothes? Because I'm considering doing that because I hate crease bedding, but I also think it's ridiculous to iron.
No, I'm not a serial killer. yeah. Well, not yet. I'm getting closer to, I reckon, having my first scalp. Yeah.
Real Dexter stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to kill.
So if you see Pet walking down the street with a whole bunch of tarpaulin,
yeah, it's not a good sign. Okay. If there's blood on my shirt, it's not random. it's come from somewhere. Painting,
So anyway,
my main issue is that what they call paints. They've got names for them, which is just insane. Vibrant purple. And
Yes.
Again, this is just classic cynical.
This is
what
the
are we
thing.
doing here? It's
So-
April Fool's,
Magnolia
vibrant purple.
cream.
Yeah.
There's a type of like kind of white cream called Hog's Brush Quarter.
Yeah, look, it's
What is that?
I know,
Can I
but
do
when-
some market research? What paint are you using?
Dulux.
Yeah, I knew you'd be a
Of
Dulux
course.
guy. But, 20, when we were 25, which some of us are further removed than others from that age, we would have loved those paint colours, and we would have
Yes.
loved April Fools.
And now we hate it.
We hate it all. Yeah.
And I'm younger than you guys, so that's really sad that
Yeah,
you've
no, but
corrupted
it's
me.
I don't mind that at all.
Well, I made a mistake. I went there and asked for Hog's Breath Cafe instead.
Yeah, and
Hog's
you got
Breath-
laughed out of the room.
No, they used to. Well, the Bunnings, they knew exactly what I was talking about.
Well, that's where I work.
And that's another thing. What is Hog's Breath Cafe?
I don't know.
So what are you painting?
I just got to paint the inside of the old clinic. It's a shit show. The whole thing's a shit show, but it's nearly done now, thankfully. Anyway, what have you guys got? Okay, here's the final one, just really quickly. The Lions got in trouble from the AFL. Not in trouble, but a little bit of criticism because they wouldn't play when the opposition team at the Gabba kicks a goal. They wouldn't replay it on the big screens.
Oh.
How petty is that?
I sort of like it, especially when you're the top team being petty. I'm big on that. I'm fucking sick of celebrating mediocrity and all the shit that happens. If you're good at what you do, you win flags, you can do whatever you want. That's my view. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to celebrate their downfall even harder now.
Yeah, I like it.
Any
I love
low-key cookings for you, Kate? What have you got to do?
My local cooking is I've been watching Final Siren a bit more, so I'm into the footy doco.
Oh,
Is that what
nice.
it's called, Final Siren?
Yeah. Anything to take
the
from it?
local cooking that is Bont's car.
Is it a good car?
Such a cool car.
a
And I am told it's a very expensive car, but it looks really hipster and just like he's picked it up at a
I think
junkyard.
it's an old Ford Bronco.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
That
it's an
one.
old Ford Bronco.
And it's just so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool dude. He's got his own cafe and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So, I mean, look, it's hard to hate the Bont. I think they try to.
I love the bomb.
Because there were
Yeah,
rumours...
everyone loves the Bont.
Well, there were rumours that he didn't pay his tradespeople properly when he was making the cafe.
People love to get people, though. I think.
Did you hear
Yeah,
that?
no,
Did you
I
even
didn't hear that. I think the Bont's a great guy.
Okay.
But I love Bont World, yeah.
Yeah, don't
wow.
don't expect to be paid on time if you do any work for him. Mine is a country bakery pie. The country bakery pie
It's the only good thing in Australia left.
is
MCG and the country bakery pie.
elite, and these ones weren't even that good. They were kind of top 10 bakery pies I've ever had in Castlemaine. The best ones I ever had was in Beechworth.
Yeah.
But not Beechworth Bakery. Don't go to Beechworth
I
Bakery.
think I actually might have been to this
Just-
one in Castlemaine. What's it called?
Blue gum pies or something like that.
Maybe.
Well, the only question I have is, is this one of the pie stores where you walk through the flaps? The
Yes.
plastic flaps?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't walk
Yes.
through the plastic flaps, are you even walking into a country pie store?
Yes, amazing.
You've
And
got to walk through the flaps.
keep
Yeah.
keep the flies out.
Yeah.
And then you
Horrible.
got and the best
Amazing.
the best combination is just a Coke and a country pie with sauce.
Yeah.
You know, I had a steak and mushroom. Oh,
Yeah.
doesn't get better than that.
Is Sis a fan of a pie?
Not as big a fan as me.
I don't think I've seen her eat a pie.
No, I think she's more of a sausage roll person. But
Yeah,
you know, we
That would be me
agree to
too.
disagree.
Yeah.
What do you got, Pet?
I didn't go to Essendon Bulldogs because I've had enough pain over the last 25 years, but I heard
3
and saw
weeks. You've had enough pain.
that they played the first Marvel game with the roof open in 11 years.
Yeah.
I think that's
11 years?
Yeah, because they've been closing it just in case because Melbourne Rain's on on the turn of a whatever the expression is,
Flip of a coin, yeah.
flip of a coin. But they opened it, and I would go to more Marvel games if I knew that the roof was open. My biggest concern with Marvel is the location. Docklands is a bottom 5 place in the world, and then B is that it's just lifeless. In my opinion, I know you like Marvel, but I just find it
Well,
lifeless.
soulless. It's a soulless place. I'm
It's
not saying it's...
soulless, but with the roof open, it adds a different dimension to it completely. And so if I knew, Essendon's going to lose nearly every game this year, but if you told me there's a Marvel game and I knew the roof was open, I'd be double as more likely to go. So that's low-key cooking for me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't understand. really the point of the roof if you're going to just leave it open. But
I think it's based on an assessment of, again, I know we get the weather wrong all the time, but they made a less than X% chance that there's going to be rain, and they're going to be comfortable opening it.
Our Bureau of Meteorology, we cannot put any faith.
I agree. So don't go by that. Go by some other international or source.
Well, it's actually Dan Andrews' fault, because as a result of the Northeast Link and of Metro Tunnel cost blowouts, we don't have the second and third weather balloon anymore.
Well, there you go.
And that's what's costing us. That means our forecast is out. So, yeah, I see what you mean. Probably good for atmosphere. But my big thing with Marvel is, and this has happened too many times, they leave the roof open till an hour before game time and let it rain, and then close the roof.
Yeah,
and so it gets slippery as shit. And it's like playing on an ice rink.
I'd rather they just kept the roof open the whole time.
Yeah. Kate, bet of the week. What have you got? What's going on? Let's do today, because you're going today.
I'm actually going today. You're going today as well.
I am. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I tipped Hawks. I'm going to back Hawks for this one, but that's because I do feel a bit of a support for Hannah and Hawks, so I always tip Hawks.
Yeah, I think Cats get the job done.
Cats, for some reason, they play really well on this day.
They play well on this day. Pound for pound, they've got all these good players that will just stand up. It's a 18-point win in a scrappy game.
Okay, let's just do the first one of next weekend as well, which is Hawthorn. It's Adelaide versus Carlton. Gather round. It's gather round next week.
Yeah, Adelaide by 80 to 85 points.
Really? Okay, yeah. Be serious though, because I'm
actually
trusting you.
It might not be 80, but it'll be 10 goals.
By 10?
Yeah, because they need it.
It might not be 80, it will be 70 less than 80.
No, it'll be 10 goals, 60 points.
All right, thanks.
Sweet. Well done, guys. Another podcast down. Well done, Pet. It's good to see you up and about now, Pet.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but it's great to see you guys.
It's also good to see Kate as well, up and about.
Yeah, it's good to see Kate up and about. That's the most important thing.
Because Kate was, you were up and about when we did our podcast with Josh.
Yeah, and you weren't up and about, and we flipped, so yeah.
Yeah, so, it's good because I don't have to bring the energy anymore. We'll see you next week, guys.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks for watching From the Outer Podcast. If you could like and subscribe, it helps us a lot to continue to create all of this amazing content that you know and love. See you next time.